I've been in the public eye since 5. And, you know, before there was an Usher, there was an Orlando Brown. Before there was a Tiana Taylor, there was an Orlando Brown.
You're a legend. No denying that.
Before there was a Bow Wow, there was an Orlando Brown. Before there was a Sierra, there was an Orlando Brown. I feel like a lot of people understand that, you know, you just got to be careful with what you play with when you're playing with the intelligence of a certain individual. They want to play with themselves. Oh, well, he's talking to code. No, I said I'm not giving my asshole up. That's not a code. Ain't no code to that. What I know and what I don't. I know what I know and I know what I don't. I can't tell you about what I don't know.
You've caught the rumors, noticed the jokes, witnessed the strange glances at red carpets. But imagine if every suspicion you held about Hollywood's darkest secret wasn't just chatter. It was a biological trap hidden as a celebration invite. Orlando Brown isn't merely listing celebrities. He's uncovering an organized infection agenda that reshaped top careers into poisoned paths. From Usher to Will Smith, Meek Mill to Kevin Hart. The connections you avoided making reveal the industry's most destructive deception. Tonight, we're not only discussing who achieved fame, we're exposing who got contaminated, chasing it. Hold tight. Here's the reality nobody dared to reveal. Orlando Brown wasn't losing control. He was unlocking clarity. While the world mocked his unstable acts, he was talking in the only language that kept him safe. Because when you battle a power that erases whistleblowers forever, sometimes madness becomes the only shield that survives.
I feel like a lot of people understand that, you know, you just got to be careful with what you play with when you're playing with the intelligence of a certain individual. You know what I'm saying? You gotta make sure you be careful because normally where there's smoke, there's fire. Nobody's gonna keep on, you know, poking at the bear if there's nothing to poke at the bear with. You know, and back then I was poking at the bear, bro. Like I was poking at the bear. Nobody was you know, caring, and you know, everybody thought, oh, well, just stop posting and all this, you know, and now it's starting to make sense because it's not about hiding anymore, and a lot of people have been hiding.
I got in my Diddy mode. I'm sorry, I started licking my lip. You know what I'm saying? I mean, yo, Diddy, you gave me the ooshka smash. You gave me the ooshka smuaf. The smooth smash. Diddy. Yeah, son. I mean, you gave me the ooshka smuash. I love it, yo. I love it. You gave me the ooshka smuash. Bro, the requirement is you gotta say no to Diddy. If it's new booty in the building, you know he's gonna get it.
Don't take your girlfriend to a Diddy party.
Nigga, you can take the bitch, but he wants you. He ain't worried about that bitch. he is not worried about that bitch at all.
Ushka Shumoff wasn't nonsense. It was a coded survival tactic. Orlando realized that openly speaking about Diddy's empire would get him erased. So, he disguised the truth inside chaos. And now, with Sean Combs held in federal custody, every bizarre caution Orlando offered is finally proving accurate. But here's what makes this even more deliberate. Orlando wasn't only shielding himself. He was safeguarding everyone else, who lacked the courage to voice the truth.
It worked for Wendy to play crazy. Why wouldn't it work?
Hey.
The oosh gosh whoosh wash. Orlando's brilliant.
Right. Yeah.
Y'all spent time with him.
We did.
Yeah. He's highly intelligent.
Yes.
Imagine what it's been like to wear this character for this long.
No. I can only...
That he does as a character. Actually, the shit he does online is the best acting he does.
Is he speaking truth?
Of course he is.
You know?
Jaguar, Wright spotted the act from the very start. She understood that Orlando's supposed breakdowns were carefully staged performances. A man faking madness to dodge becoming another industry victim. Because once you hold Orlando's knowledge about Diddy's freak-off gatherings and their biological aftermath, silence isn't just cooperation, it's fatal. Let's be honest about who Orlando Brown actually is. This man has been in the spotlight since he was only 5 years old. 5. That's 30 years of watching Hollywood's engine function from the inside, observing how stars get devoured, discarded quietly when they uncover too much. Orlando experienced events that would shatter most grown people while he was still learning letters. He saw predators posing as teachers. The parties where purity vanished and the NDAs sealed with blood and baby oil.
I've been in the public eye since 5. And, you know, before there was an Usher, there was an Orlando Brown. Before there was a Tiana Taylor, there was an Orlando Brown.
You're a legend. No denying that.
Before there was a Bow Wow, there was an Orlando Brown. Before there was a Sierra, there was an Orlando Brown. It's levels to this
It's
shit,
levels.
bruh.
It's
yeah,
levels.
It's definitely levels to this. So if you want me to act high, I'll act high. If you want me to act drunk, I'll be drunk. If you want me to say some Raven shit, I'll say some Raven shit. You know, it's now we're watching these interviews, and like I've said before, it's at a 1 hour and a half, and we're not turning this into a movie. Who needs to be fired? Who needs to be fired? We're watching these interviews at 100, like at 100 plus minutes. Is what I'm saying to you. And who needs to be fired for allowing me to keep sitting? What did they want to see? They label it whatever they want to label it. That's why I don't care. They can label me whatever they want to label me. You can't put me in a box. It's the Holy Spirit. By any means necessary, it's going to shine bright. By any means necessary. I'd have been arrested, shut up, damn near almost every damn day. But it's how you maneuver it.
Orlando's so-called madness was never sickness, it was survival. After 30 years in Hollywood, he understood that exposing Diddy's secrets would put a target on his back. Playing erratic kept him alive, because in this business, truth-tellers don't get therapy, they get silence. Diddy's empire wasn't built on music or parties alone. It was a hidden marketplace where careers were traded behind locked doors. An invitation to his gatherings wasn't just about status, it was a key to power, a golden ticket to the top. Celebrities begged their teams for access, knowing if Diddy ignored your name, your career hit a ceiling, but if he recognized you, the cost was steep. Orlando saw it all, the anxious eyes, waiting for those white invitations. The desperation of artists ready to give up anything, even themselves, for a place at Diddy's table.
You're on the outside looking in, and you become a person that can be close to Puff. Man, you made it, is what you're thinking.
Okay.
You never thinking these problems is gonna happen, but when he pull his dick out,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying?
You better suck it.
So if you, no, it's not just you better suck it. It's you know, you better f it and suck it.
Yeah. And hire some other dudes to suck it too.
Yeah. So it's like, and now I'm like, nigga, that's what you was doing? Like, nah, man, you know what I'm saying? I can't vouch for that. I can say you was a good friend, you was a good family member, and I can say that you was definitely, you know, a good uncle and all that. I don't know your parties.
This wasn't networking, it was organized exploitation dressed up as opportunity. Orlando understood the cost of entry, and he refused to pay it. While others surrendered pieces of themselves behind closed doors, he was observing, memorizing, collecting evidence in silence about how power and success truly operated at Hollywood's highest levels. Those gatherings weren't parties at all, they were business deals with hidden contracts, transactions that traded innocence for influence. And through it all, Orlando Brown was keeping the receipts.
What I'm capable of. They want to play with themselves. Oh, well, he's talking to code. No, I said I'm not giving my asshole up. That's not a code. Ain't no code to that. I'm not bending on even no couches. Y'all ain't running up my asshole. Ain't no studio for me to go to go get ripped and be looking like somebody's funny. Get the out of here. None of that.
Let's look at what happens when the truth finally starts. Closing in, after Lil Rod filed his lawsuit naming Meek Mill and exposing Diddy's alleged activities, Meek didn't calmly deny it, he unraveled. He went wild online, offering $100,000 rewards, threatening lawsuits, demanding investigations. That wasn't the posture of an innocent man. It was the panic of someone who felt the walls tightening. His meltdown spoke louder than any statement, tweets deleted, stories reversed, swinging from rage to begging people to back off. It was the textbook behavior of someone trapped in his own lies. And the harder he fought, the clearer it became that Lil Rod had struck a nerve deep in Meek's reality. But here's the twist: none of the outbursts mattered. because Orlando Brown had already witnessed what Meek was so desperately trying to bury.
Saw this lawsuit that made it seem as if perhaps Diddy and Meek Mill had sex.
I mean, to each their own. And why would they not have sex when they're gay rappers?
They.
Do you think Meek Mill's gay?
We all know he's gay.
Who's we?
Rick Ross knows he's gay.
I didn't know. It's news to me.
Everybody, Rick Ross knows.
You think Rick Ross would sign a gay rapper?
Rick Ross knows he's gay.
Orlando wasn't guessing, and he wasn't leaning on rumors or paperwork. He spoke with certainty, calling names the way only someone with first-hand knowledge could. These weren't theories, they were lived experiences. And when Rick Ross's name surfaced, it wasn't some reckless shot in the dark. It was Orlando connecting pieces the public hadn't even begun to recognize. Shining light on patterns others were too afraid or too blind to see.
When Diddy got locked up, Meek Mill came out saying that he'll pay somebody $100 grand to investigate that he has nothing to do with anything with Diddy.
Man, look, I can't. You can't take back what your butthole received. That's just like the video that's coming out with him and Will. With Will Smith getting the Will Smith. You ain't heard the Will Smith footage?
Yeah.
Alright, Will Smith. Then they got the Carl Winslow. Yeah, they got a lot, bro. It's a lot coming out, bro. You know what I'm saying? And I'm gonna just keep it to you 1,000.
The fact that Orlando can casually reference specific videos, even describing what's supposedly on them, should terrify everyone implicated, because if those tapes are real and they ever surface, Meek's online meltdowns will look like nothing compared to what's coming. Orlando isn't bluffing, he's signaling receipts, and in Hollywood, receipts decide everything. Which brings us to the man who may be patient zero in this entire twisted equation, Usher Raymond. Most people have heard about a 13-year-old Usher living under Diddy's roof, but Orlando insists the truth goes far deeper. This wasn't mentorship, it was large-scale conditioning. Usher entered as a bright, talented kid, but when he emerged, he was transformed. The confident teenager who went in came out carrying survival skills forged in trauma, repeating the very cycle that had nearly consumed him.
Call him Gusher.
I said Usher is a gusher. That's what I said. I said Usher is a gusher. It was nice.
I don't even want to know why you say
His whole thing is accusing everybody of being on some mystery Illuminati gate shit, right?
So what? They shouldn't have showed me their cooch.
Orlando, ISN, T tossing out crude nicknames for shock value. He's pointing to Usher as someone who shifted from victim to participant, a figure who became entangled in the very system that once trapped him. That Gusher remark wasn't random. It was Orlando's way of suggesting Usher opened the gates for everything that followed. And the most unsettling part, if industry whispers are true, Usher didn't just endure his time with Diddy, he absorbed the tactics, mastering the same playbook and passing it down to the next generation.
I think if a victim comes out against Usher, it'll show how egregious this is. Because if he can be a predator, then anybody can be a predator.
Can't smile on your face the whole time.
You feel what I'm saying? Like, people look at Usher, they don't see that. They not seeing the victim. They not seeing that boy that got rushed to the hospital. They not seeing what the intentions was in his heart when he took Justin Bieber there.
Oh.
Let's be honest. He took Justin Bieber there. Diddy had been trying to get to Bieber for a minute. And his management was backing him off. But it wasn't until Usher took over management and had guardianship and gave temporary guardianship to the diddler for 48 hours. Think about that. He had already been to the hospital. That situation that Gene was talking about. And you still took Bieber there. But you got custody of him first. Diddy had already tried. They wouldn't let him. Actually, someone made reference to the fact that Diddy trying to get at Bieber the way he was trying to get at Bieber was looking a little predatory. And then Usher came in and discovered it and managed him and got custody of him and promised to look after him. And then he sent him to the diddler. Does that sound like a good guy?
It's horrible. It's horrible.
Does that sound like a good guy? Now that we know what Diddy's really like, what kind of asshole do you gotta be to take another boy, another talented boy, and put him in your place so it ain't gotta be you no more? Because that's what do. They get victims, and then once they get to a certain age and they get too old for them to enjoy them, they send them out to go get other young kids.
Usher essentially handed Justin Bieber over to Diddy as a way to protect himself, a move that shows just how brutal survival in this system can be. Knowing exactly what Diddy was capable of, Usher allegedly placed a vulnerable teenager into the very nightmare he barely escaped. It's the clearest proof of how trauma breeds more trauma, how victims can become victimizers in order to endure. And now, the spotlight shifts to the man likely losing the most sleep, Will Smith. The moment Orlando Brown began naming names, Will launched straight into damage control. Nothing looks guiltier than a man racing to deny accusations that weren't even officially made. The timeline exposes it all. First, Brother Bill drops the bomb about Will's secret life insider whispers, confirmed publicly. That alone should have made Will step back, handle things quietly, maybe through legal channels. But once Orlando tied him to Diddy's freak-offs, something in Will snapped. He broke his own golden rule of never answering gossip, and by speaking out, he said more than silence ever could do.
I don't have shit to do with Puffy, so y'all can stop all that. Stop all that bullshit. I ain't been nowhere near no damn freak off. Listen, I do enough of my own. Don't be putting me in other people's.
That wasn't damage control, it was desperation. Will Smith halting his own comedy show just to address the Diddy allegations reveals exactly how terrified he is of what might surface. Because when Orlando Brown casually drops hints about certain videos existing, Will doesn't wonder what they are, he already knows which ones could come to light.
I'm not condoning what it sounds like on when Will Smith get in on video and camera and audio. I'm not trying to condone what it sounds like when Meek Mill get in that. You know what I'm saying? On camera, on video. I'm not trying to get, all in between the business of, Reginald Bill Johnson getting in that. You know what I'm saying? And all that other shit, you know what I'm saying? But what I'm talking about is some real gangster shit and some real G is, you know what I'm saying? You wanted that dick in your You wanted that dick in your ass. You wanted that extra $1 million or whatever the case may be. And you can't blame the person that gave it to you. And that's Puff. Puff like the... You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to blame that man. You know what I'm saying? Because he like the... I was like, yo, man, no thank you. That's simple, man. I got a couple $1 million just saying I don't want to... Tell your truth. You know what I'm saying? Tell your truth. You know what I mean? Like, I'm used to certain things, like, yo, man, tell the truth. You get, but if you want to stay in the room, man, you get, and a lot of people got fucked a lot of people, and it's not nothing wrong with how he fucked them. It's all on video and audio. Yeah. And that's what they fucked up at. You can tell me Puff went away for a long time, bro, but do you not hear the of Meek Mill? Do you not hear all of the shake it off, take that.
Winslow, Will Smith, Meek Mill Orlando isn't tossing out names for shock value. He's signaling what's coming. And Will Smith's visible panic already confirms how real these allegations may be. But the darker side of this machine is what happens to those who give Diddy everything he demands and still end up discarded. That's why YK Osiris represents the most tragic layer of this system, the artists who trade away dignity, identity, even manhood, only to learn that obedience doesn't equal safety. Osiris believed he was playing by the rules, taking those questionable trips with Diddy, posting intimate photos, presenting himself as a willing participant. But what he failed to realize is that inside Diddy's web, no one is ever secure, only valuable until you're expendable.